Hey Tiger family, Mr. Gomez here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to have fun. We're going to cook one of my favorite dishes, chicken parmesan, or like my Italian friends would say, pollo alla parmigiana, okay? Pollo alla parmigiana, okay? Now, wanted to show you that it's so simple to cook this dish. It's a fun dish and it's so simple to cook it because you could just use basic items that you'll find in your pantry, okay? So I'm using breadcrumbs. If I don't feel like chopping tomatoes that day, I like to use Newman's own Marinara Sauce. Now the reason why I like to use them is because 100% of the proceeds goes to charity, okay? Parsley, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, obviously the star, other than the chicken, the Parmesan cheese, flour, spaghetti, and grapeseed oil, okay? Now, I like to prepare everything in advance, okay? So right now, I have my chicken already chopped up. All I have to do now is, I like to put it on top of a parchment paper and have another piece of parchment paper over it. Now, you're asking, why am I doing this? The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to flatten my chicken before I toss it in the flour, the egg wash, and the breadcrumbs, okay? I want to make sure that it's real flat, and the reason why I want it flat is because it makes it easier to cook once I'm cooking it in my frying pan, okay? So, here we go. Really trying to flatten out this chicken as much as I can. Not only will it make it easier to cook in the frying pan, but it'll make it easier for the breadcrumbs to really stick to the chicken, okay? Now let's see. See? It's a lot flatter now, that's for sure. Now, like I've told you already, I like to have everything prepped beforehand. So I have 3 glass plates, okay? Bowls, whatever. Glass cookware, how about that? So I have flour here. I have my egg wash, okay? And I have my breadcrumbs. Now, the only thing that I've added to these breadcrumbs, okay, is the Italian seasoning, okay, and Parmesan cheese. Just add it in there, okay? Now, here we go. First step, make sure that you place the chicken inside the bowl where the flour is, okay? Really make sure that you get all, or as much of the flour as you can from this bowl. Now, before I put it in the egg wash, kind of like to sprinkle out any excess. Of the flour. Try to take out as much of the excess. Now, next, put it inside the egg wash. Now, you really want it to soak up the egg wash, okay? So, once I'm done with that, try to dab it out a little bit. Take out any excess. Now, my favorite part. Rest it on the breading. Make sure that you really get as much breading. Try to fill it up. Try to make sure that there's not one piece of chicken exposed and you really got that breading, okay? Don't miss a piece. Okay. Now, here comes. Look at that. Look at that piece of chicken. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that same parchment paper I had. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to rest this piece of chicken there. Parchment paper on top of that chicken. And I just like to kind of like press down on the chicken to make sure that it's really absorbing all the breadcrumbs, okay? Now, before I cook it, I like to wait about 7 to 10 minutes and let it rest so that the breadcrumbs could really take form, take shape. Okay? So that when you cook it, the breadcrumbs don't fall off the chicken, because you don't want that happening, okay? So while that's happening, right now, the tomato sauce that I'm making is simmering in the back, okay? I have it on low, okay? I've preheated my oven to 375. Now, for the best results, you want to make sure that your oven is preheated so that as soon as you're done cooking it on the pan, you could just stick it right into the oven, and that process is another 10 to 12 minutes, okay? But that's if you have preheated your oven already and it's already at the optimal temperature that it's supposed to be at, okay? So right now we're gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back. And we're back. One of the things you may notice is, where are my glass containers? Well, my glass containers are not here anymore. Why? Because I cleaned them. Now, one thing that I do not enjoy is cleaning my dishes after I eat. So I do it in between the prep and the cook of the dish, okay? Now, we've already waited about 10 minutes. So, as you can see, the chicken is already ready to go into our pan. But before I do that, I want to put the heat at 7. And then I pour a little bit of grapeseed oil, okay? Grapeseed oil, you could use a little bit of olive oil. I prefer grapeseed oil for this particular dish. So, just put a dab, okay? Get it around. Okay. Now I'm just gonna wait till it heats up a little bit. The reason why we wait for it to heat up a little bit is because I want to make sure that as soon as I put the chicken in the pan, I want to make sure that I hear that crackling noise, that little crackling noise. I want to make sure that you hear that. Once you hear that, all right, you cook each side of the chicken for about 2.5 minutes. Now, the pan should be ready to go when I place the chicken on it. Let's see if we hear that crackling noise. Well, you really can't hear it, but it's happening, okay? So what I like to do is I like to make sure that the breading, you start to see a golden brown on the side, okay? Start to see a golden brown on the side. Let me see if I could record this. So, you really want to make sure you see that golden brown, okay? I said 2.5 minutes on each side. Once I start seeing that golden brown appear, I'm going to put 4 teaspoons of butter throughout the pan, kind of like a diamond on each end, okay? Now, it's already starting to appear golden brown. So I'm going to put a teaspoon here, teaspoon there, teaspoon here. And a teaspoon there, okay? Now, kind of wanted to see this, so I'm going to take another video of it. I'm going to see if I can add it on to this video. Okay? I'm going to wait about 30 more seconds to flip it over. I know I'm not the only one that does this when I pick up the tongs. I know I'm not the only one that does that. So, anyways. All right, I'm gonna flip it over now. Wow, beautiful, beautiful golden brown. If only you could see. I'll bring it to you after so you could actually check this out. Now, while that's happening, okay, we're going to be placing the chicken inside the oven pretty soon. Okay, so since that's going to be happening soon, I want to start my water up, my big pot, so it can start to boil so that I could make my pasta. Okay? Man, it smells so good in here. It smells so good in here. I wish it was smell-o-vision, so you guys could smell it. Now, I cut up some fresh mozzarella. Okay? For a few more seconds, then I'm gonna put it on this tray right here. This is a tray that we're gonna put in the oven once the chicken is ready, okay? Okay. Just want you guys to get a view of this chicken, okay? Look how beautiful that looks. Look at that beauty. Okay? Now, both sides cooked. Alright, now comes my favorite part, okay? Marinara sauce. Marinara sauce that's been cooking. What a beauty. Now, just gonna put that much in there. Okay? Once I put that much in there, gonna lay my pieces of fresh mozzarella, okay? I'm gonna put 3 pieces of the mozzarella. Now I like to season the mozzarella with a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay. Some pepper. This is some salt. Just season it a little bit. Oven is already preheated to 375. Look at that. This is how it's gonna look when it goes inside the oven, okay? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I did put a little bit of oil spray on the foil paper so that the chicken does not stick. Okay? Now we'll put that in here. We'll set the timer for 12 minutes. And now our water is boiling, okay? So this is perfect. We're almost there. Hey everybody. Alright, so this pasta is about ready and my oven just alerted me to let me know that the chicken is ready as well. Okay, so I'm using this strainer, okay, for the pasta. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to make sure I get all that pasta out. Now, here we go. All that pasta out and put it back in here. Okay? So, one of the things I like to do is just like to add a dab of the tomato sauce. You know what? Let me add a little bit more. Dab of tomato sauce inside the pasta, okay? And really allow it to get a different color, okay? Now, have a different color. Now, here comes the fun part. A little bit of basil. A little bit of parsley. Salt. Pepper. Okay? Now, you really want to mix it up in there. Now, that we've done that part, let's check on our chicken parm, the star of the dish. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to plate. The way I like to plate is add a little bit of sauce right on the center of that plate. Okay? Now, I'm going to rest this chicken on top of that sauce. Rest that chicken on top of the sauce. And last part. Get that pasta on that plate. Okay? Let's add a little bit more tomato sauce on top. A little bit messy, but chicken parm. Let me add some Parmesan cheese. On top. Let's bite into it. To have a little bit of that pasta. Okay. Perfect dish. Okay, so I'm gonna have the recipe posted on the YouTube video, under a YouTube video, and or Instagram video. I'm not sure if it's going on Instagram, YouTube, wherever it goes. Recipe will be there. Okay. Have any questions about this dish? Feel free to email me, and hope you enjoy.